Hello, everyone. Welcome to this supposed to be Facebook Live, and now we're on Zoom to this beautiful event that Samantha and I wanted to share with all of you as a connection. Like, we've had a very interesting connection together, and we want to inspire you to how you can actually get to yours. So hopefully people will be able to join on the other side here, and otherwise we'll send the recording. What else?
We just have to trust, right?
Do you want to present yourself, Samantha?
Yes, so I'm you can call me Samantha, or most people call me Sam, actually. But yeah, what's in a name? I'm an energy. I'm just someone that's been doing energy work for about 15 years. Started off doing Reiki. I've always been someone that's really sensitive, maybe felt a little different to people around me. Kind of gone through the whole roller coaster of the spiritual journey, and it continues on. And got into doing light language a couple of years ago. I'm now doing light scripts, which I might do tonight. And just my journey felt very, the thing that I felt very aware of was feeling very alone a lot of the time, feeling very different, not knowing who to reach out to share what I'm experiencing, for fear of being judged, or, quite honestly, sometimes fear of being totally insane. And then realizing that I think there's a lot of other people out there, through starting to step past those fears, that there are a lot of other people out there who feel just like me, or have gone through similar experiences in their own unique way. And I think the more of us that can step out and really embrace who we are unapologetically and shine, that we can inspire others to do the same. And we are living in a time and a place and a space where all this old stuff is crumbling away at a rate of knots, and it's just waiting for something new, something exciting, something uplifting and full of love to just step in and fill the space. And if, those of us that are different maybe and feel the world, from our hearts, this is our time to choose to step out, but to do it together, to not feel like we have to do this on our own, because that comes from a place of feeling separate and feeling afraid and feeling shame and guilt and all these things. That's probably stuff that's residues of past lives and all the rest of it. It's time to step out, shine our hearts, shine our authentic light and truth out there, so that we can connect. Because when we connect, we create these incredible energetic grids where we all grow and we all learn and we all just become more empowered, and we do create these incredible worlds around us. And meeting Annabelle online, I mean, we've only known each other for a few months, but basically our connection came because we both chose bravely to just get out there and shine our light, and unapologetically, and not stepping past this worry that it's got to look right, it's got to look professional. And quite clearly, not that I'm saying we're not professional, but X side of this didn't quite go right. But it doesn't matter. I think our intention is what's important, and getting the message across and trusting that this energy will ripple out there and it will build these connections and create something uplifting and beautiful. So hopefully that gives you some idea. That's me, okay? I can give you lots more detail about me and my story and what I do and all the rest of it. But that's my energy, that's my light. And as you can probably see, that's what I'm passionate about just choosing now to step out and shine and let my heart do the talking for me. And in doing that, trusting that I can build these connections with other like-minded souls, so that together we can develop the confidence. We can support each other at the times where we feel a bit lost, and then we can be each other's cheerleaders when it's going well, so that we can grow and then we can magnify this beautiful, powerful energy that exists in all of us, But when we unite, when we work together, it just turns into something else. So that's me.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, I'm gonna present myself too, I guess. So my name is Annabelle. Not many people call me other things than Annabelle, but you can call me Anna, I guess. So yeah, so I think for me, I knew like in my heart that 2022 would be very interesting in that kind of spiritual connections, like that we would come together when our soul and our heart frequency is aligned. And I mean, like for most of my life, most of my life, like I was saying in the other in the Facebook live that didn't work, I felt really different. I felt I needed to shape shift to connect with others. I felt I was really good to connect with people, but they would not get me. I would get everyone, but nobody would really get me. Um, so always being kind of feeling a bit of an outcast, or like you know, the black sheep of the family, the all of these traits that we all have, right, when we're in this type of journey. And then when I chose to heal myself, heal my heart, then I would stop bringing forward all of these difficult relationships that were making me even feel even worse than I was already feeling. And now the energy that's helping us is that I have a feeling that our heart frequency is going a lot more further away than it was before when we were healing a lot of our hearts. Um, and then our connection can just get together. And obviously, as Sam has said, if I had not shared my light language, and if she had not shared her script, and if we wouldn't have had like this audacity to be herself, I mean, then we wouldn't have met, and this event today would not be occurring. So it's very beautiful to see, you know, what can be created. And every time I connect with Samantha, it's like I just feel super excited, and we're kind of activating each other. And that's what we want to show you, that's possible to actually have in your life, that you can actually bring that forward. And it's not always easy, but it's possible. Yeah, and at the end we talk about the services and stuff. So the card that I picked this week, for somebody else has asked me like, how do we clear the energy? And I was like, so I did a YouTube video, and then this card, I was asked to take a card, and I was like, this is the week I meet with the Samantha, so I know it's for everyone today. It's the Star Family. The card is very beautiful. It's from these cards, if you know the Star Seed Oracle. And it says, you're part of a team of soul, call in support. And when I read it, I was like having chills everywhere. So we'll see how it goes today. I'm just going to share with you all. Sam, if you can just check, meanwhile, if there's anyone looking for something else in the other, in the Facebook, but I think it should probably be okay by now. So it says, at some stage, we were each part of a soul cluster. Some people will call those monadic grouping, a gathering of soul who broke away from one another to experience themselves individually. Those who are part of your soul clusters are part of your star family. Your star. Oh, is it me? Maybe you're hearing me. Your star family are souls who are cut from a similar cosmic cloth. You haven't just experienced lifetimes together, your soul were once actually one. It's very common for star family members to incarnate at similar times, to work with anchoring a similar frequency of light, and to cross paths with each other. You know that someone is part of your star family when you feel like you know and remember them from the moment you meet. They feel instantly familiar and comfortable. Time both passes quickly and stretches when you're with them. You feel more yourself with them and than with anyone else. It can sometimes feel like you're looking in a mirror, because in a way you are. Often you will go out of your way to help those in your star family instinctively, knowing it's part of your path. When a star family member dies, you feel it very deeply, regardless of how long you knew them, a certain soul mourning or soul breaking occurs. Think about the people in your life who do you feel is part of your star family. If this card is coming up for you, it's like you've met someone who is part of your star family, or you're about to. So I thought it was really beautiful to kind of introduce our work today. This beautiful talk. So I do believe that Sam is part of my star family. There's no doubt about that.
I think when we first started chatting, that first time we started chatting, it was just like so easy to talk to you, and it was just like you knew exactly what I was saying almost before I said it. And I think, you know, you felt that and I felt that, and it was just so amazing, because I feel like even now I just feel like I know you so well, and there's no sort of fear or anxiety at all about just showing up and doing this with you. And I don't know, more than anything, doing these things, showing up with people that just really resonate with you. You stop worrying about whether it's going to go right. You know,
Yeah.
you just kind of trust that it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and you know, it's a beautiful connection. And obviously we wanted to connect with people here. We want to build those connections, but even if it had just been you and me, I know it would have been beautiful, because like you say, whenever we get together, the energy just kind of goes up and up and up and up and up. And like, I was watching your live earlier, and I think we obviously had a similar feeling, because I was sort of feeling, oh, I need to do some light language or something. You know, I felt really like, I need to do something. And that's the thing that's so magical, because the more you really express your authentic self, and what I mean by that is you know, your unapologetic truth of who you are, your expression from your heart as much as you can, your purest expression from your heart, without sort of worrying about what that looks like. The more you do that, you create these connections with people which are just so effortless. But it's getting to that place where you have the confidence to do it. And I really truly think that starts with finding this acceptance and this stillness, being able to be still in yourself and be able to listen to all those voices and feel into all those different aspects of yourself and accept them all. Because there's always more, isn't there? So accept them all. That's like kind of never ending, right? But once you can sit in that stillness with yourself and connect into whatever that looks like for you, because it's different for all of us, you can find that kind of peace with who you are, then suddenly you can begin to shine. That is where your authentic truth comes from, when you see all those different parts of you. And I mean all of it, you know, the stuff you don't like. When you have the courage to begin to look inwards, then you can shine that stuff out, because when you make a peace with that, with who you are, you kind of lose this fear about what other people will think of you. And so you begin, you still feel hesitant maybe about stepping out, but more and more you just like, well, this is who I am. And if some people don't get it, that's okay, because this is me. And the more I can back myself, the better you feel. And then more and more you kind of step past these boundaries, these fears. And the more you step out and the more you step beyond these fears, suddenly you meet these people, they see you. And I mean, they see this. It doesn't really matter, you know, it doesn't matter if I showed up in my pajamas, right? Because, you know, but you'd see me, because I am giving you all that I know that I am at this moment in time. And at the end of the day, that's all we've got, right? What we have right now. But I am prepared to open my heart and share that. And when you meet other people that resonate, they feel that connection and they know. And I guess we have a knowing in our souls, you know, in the material of our souls, that just matches. But in order to find that match, you have to be prepared to step out. It's that kind of conundrum, isn't it? It's like, can I get over the fear of stepping out, you know, to reach those people? But that's why I think it really comes with finding this peace with who you are and ways in which we can do that. And you hear a lot of people say, oh, you know, you have to be still with yourself, da, 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 da. But I think one of the things we talked about was a lot of people don't know where to start. It's all well and good to say that, right? But it's like, well, where do I even start? Especially if you've got that voice inside you which says, you know, you're not good enough, you know, I hate you, I hate myself, or, you know, worse. If you've got that voice going on all the time, you don't really want to be in stillness with that voice. So it can be really hard, really hard. One of the hardest things, actually.
Yeah, exactly. When you were talking, that's what I was feeling. It's like we have all of these layers, you know, the ego talk and the trauma responses that we've had in the past experiences, and the ego not wanting us to go outside of the box because it wants to protect us. But it's not what protects us, it's what us keeps us, like, it does not keep us safe. Actually, it just keeps us stuck where we are. So it's I think it's welcoming all of those, and it's not pushing them away because they'll stay there, but it's being able to sit with them and see where they come from and how can we actually transmute them. And I know alone it's a little difficult. I've had, you know, healers for a long time, and it's a lot easier when you have somebody like holding your hands while you're doing that, because when you're really close to the tree you don't see the whole forest. But allowing these thoughts to be thoughts and not to be who you are. And that's like this, once you start disconnecting who you are from these thoughts and these emotions that are more lower frequencies of, you know, anger and critique and all of that, at least then you can connect with this soul that you have. Because if it's in the way, that's why people don't even start meditating. I was not wanting to start meditating either. But because it was just so uncomfortable, because I was in the doing thing. I was, you know, working full time and being always busy doing 100 million things all the time, because that's kind of what made me feel alive. And I was scared to death to sit with myself and listen to all of this crap that my mind would tell me, and all of these emotions that were not comfortable. Like I did not know how to welcome them. That's a very big step. I think it's one of the biggest steps. At first, you see them coming forward and you just connect with them. And it's not about attaching to the story. It's not about attaching to, oh, and analyzing them. When you analyze, you're in your mind, right? So it's like not doing that, but okay, there is a story in my field. Okay, can I just welcome it? Because or the emotions, because on the other side of it, then it's beautiful, because you have the stillness does not come with analyzing. It just doesn't. You can try as much as you want, but you'll spend more energy trying to analyze than actually being centered. Yeah, what would you say?
Like you think, trying, it's the trying, isn't it? Trying to mentally process stuff, which actually you need to just find some acceptance around it. And I think it's very human to want to attach a story, because by attaching a story, then you can figure out how to fix it. But I think for me, it was about relaxing and finding an acceptance and then expanding out of it. And also the thing that was also an eye-opener was seeing everything as an opportunity, which I know, I mean, looking back and thinking where I was 15, 20 years ago, if you'd said some of the stuff I was going through then was an opportunity, I probably would have, you know, said some quite rude things to you, right? But looking back on it now, and with the attitude I have now, seeing that the world and the universe and everything that was unfolding is happening for me rather than happening to me, and that's really powerful, you know, the change of perception when you can get to that point and you can see all this stuff as opportunity rather than stuff to need to run from or hide from or protect yourself from or put all these barriers up. Because actually the more you put these barriers up, the more disconnected you get from everything around you, the more fearful you get, the more stuck in your head you get, and the more entangled you get, and then the need to create more stories to kind of keep yourself safe, when actually if you can stop and you can breathe. And one of the things we mentioned in the event comments was tools that you can use, simple tools. And a really simple tool is the breath. oh my God, it's, we can all breathe, right? If we're living, we can all breathe. And the
We're
breath,
supposed.
but it's so powerful. And even now, even after all my years of spiritual work and everything I've done, even now, I think I might have mentioned it to you when we were on a call a couple of weeks ago. I've been going through a stressful period of time. I can't remember why now because I'm kind of done with it, but I was really, really stressed. And I went for a walk with my dog. We're both dog lovers. I went for a walk with my dog, and I was thinking, oh, it's a beautiful day, gorgeous fresh air. And I suddenly realized I hadn't breathed. I hadn't really breathed and stopped and just taken a gorgeous lungful of air in and just connected into nature, connected into fresh air, and just feel that breath and breathe out and properly allow that breath to process through my system. And I suddenly realized how contracted I felt, how much tension there was in my body. I was thinking, how can I navigate this? How can I move through this when I'm in such a state of stress? I'm dealing with this situation from a real reactive state. So it really reminds me the breath, just going into your breath. It's the most simple form of meditation, really. Just breathing, just being with your breath is so powerful, and we can all do it, and it's free. And if you're living, you can breathe. But it's cool.
Yeah.
And just consistently checking in with your breath, even if you allocate 5 or 10 minutes a day just to have some focused breathing. So you don't necessarily have to go into silence and go into meditation where you completely clear your mind because let's face it, for a lot of us that's really difficult to do because the thoughts come up, the mind monkeys start. But just focusing on your breath for 5-10 minutes and just focusing on slowing that breathing down, it's amazing the difference it makes, especially when you do have to make a decision or when you do have a difficult situation to navigate. Just slowing everything down so you get out of that stress response. I think that's a really, really powerful tool that's easy and accessible for everybody. And it can make things, it doesn't make stuff go away, but it makes it easier to navigate. And that's the thing, these challenges, we're always going to have these challenges and there's always going to be more work to do. And it's tempting to want to put our happiness on the other side of getting stuff fixed. But if we can find our happiness, if we can see our happiness now and use our breath and use these tools to help us navigate stuff, suddenly challenges don't feel so frightening or difficult anymore.
They don't take over you anymore. That's I love that. I think for me, even I think people were telling me that at the beginning, slow down your breathing. And I was like, nah. And I know we have one of the viewers, she does breath work. So she's one of the best for that. But I know for me, nature always been it's easier. Like if I go, I know for me, hikes always been something very easy to, I'm going to think at first like everybody else. And then I'd get at some point where it's just, okay, now I have this kind of space, like this empty space in my mind. It's like if I like to have intentions. So if anyone kind of resonates with that. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to say, I want to clear everything that does not serve me. And I'm not actually doing something very spiritual. I'm just stating a statement of my intention going up this mountain. And then I'll see after 30 minutes, maybe, then there's I call it the void space, which is sometimes can even create some anxiety because you're so used to have so much noise that you're like, oh, something's wrong. It's so silent in my head. So getting to that state. And this is where, because that's very important to remember, that you will get the clarity on the other side of all of these thoughts and emotions. It's there. It's just you need to let them go. They need to fall away so that you get to this actual clarity. So that's important. So for me, nature is one of the easiest way. I was doing a video and I was just putting my feet in a river, but I'm in Mexico, so the rivers are still really warm. You can maybe put your fingers in other places. Just a little bit.
I love that because I didn't have a stream to put my feet in and it was quite coldish this morning in the UK. But I tell you what I did today when I really wanted to, I thought I'm going to really consciously connect with nature. I did have a moment of thinking that when I was walking my dog again. And it had rained a lot yesterday. And I thought, I'm just going to reach out and I'm just going to touch the leaves as I
Yeah.
walk past, and I'm just gonna touch the rain on the leaves, and I'm gonna feel how certain different leaves feel. Just to take that moment to connect with nature, and it was I just thought, wow. I mean, it was 5 minutes. It made my walk 5 minutes longer, and I just had that moment of, I'm part of all this. I am part of all this. I am not alone. I am not separate. I am part of all this. And as much as there's this incredible nature around me, my whole body is filled with nature as well. It's, you know, inside my whole body, there's this whole incredible, you know, microbiome and all this stuff going on inside me, and just gave me that moment of just connecting into everything. And I think that's really, really powerful when we remember we are part of this. It's, you know, our ego gets very fixated on feeling separate and needing to be safe, and which is, you know, that's not wrong. But when we connect into a higher self and we allow ourselves to expand and realize that we are part of all this, and as part of all this, we have a connection to all of that wisdom as well. So
Yeah.
when we can relax and breathe and reach into it all, suddenly you have access to all of this creativity that's inside you and outside of you.
Yeah.
So you're talking about nature. When you walk with nature and you consciously connect with it, it's quite mind-blowing, actually. Literally just touching a leaf and feeling a few raindrops from yesterday, suddenly it becomes this mind-blowing experience. But so, you know, nature is, again, it's so powerful, and it's amazing if you can go and put your feet in a stream or put your feet on the earth. But even just doing that, you know, I didn't even need to hug a tree, or literally touching a leaf, and I was just like, wow, you know. And it's really powerful as sensitive souls. If you can let that fear drop away and you can let your hearts connect, that's a mind-blowing gift, actually. We have, it's a mind-blowing power that we kind of sort of denied ourselves.
We repressed for so long, right?
Exactly.
That we repressed sensitivity of being, you know, I remember being a very sensitive child. I would cry every 5 minutes, every time. I'm like, you know, like most of us, you know, when people fight, I get very sensitive, and then I would cry, and then they would tell me like, stop crying. And you know, that sensitivity was not welcomed. And most of us, I think most of people that will connect with us are probably starseeds somewhere, but they are, you know, we have these beautiful senses that help us connect to each other, but they also help us to connect with nature. They help us, you know, I don't know, for those that follow my feeds, they help me connect with dogs here and like cry all day because I'm like so upset about dogs being treated this way. But they also make us connecting more into what is real, instead of just noticing the illusions of this frightened reality in front of us that just wants to eat us alive. You know, there is so much more than what is sometimes presented to us by society or by our ego, right? So being able to be sensitive and connected to nature, the animals, to other people's, you know, just crossing path with us. I'm sure you're getting into a room and you know if people are doing well enough. It's not everybody that can do that, but we can. And also, if you have certain tools, then you call in the violet flame or the golden rainbow fire, whatever other tools, and then you can alchemize things and you feel better. And they don't know, and they will feel better too.
You know,
so
I had a really interesting experience, because like probably a lot of people on this call and people who are sensitive, I'm pretty sure I'm clairsentient, so I really feel stuff strongly. And as a child, I really felt stuff strongly. And I'm listening to you talking about as a child, you know, you cried all the time. I cried all the time as a child, but it didn't feel unnatural until other people around me began to kind of look at me like, you know, what's wrong with you? You're always crying all the time. And then that's when you start thinking, oh, this is wrong. But I used to feel stuff. I used to feel everybody else's stuff. And, you know, at school, I used to feel everybody's stuff. And one of the things that happened as a result of that was friends would come to me and ask me to help them with their problems. And I would say, well, this is what I feel, and this is, you know, what I feel will help. And it would kind of go away, and they would maybe listen to the advice. but they would be so kind of weirded out by me. They would kind of be a bit afraid, because I think they felt very vulnerable, because I could feel what they were feeling. And although it was helpful, it made them wary, because, you know, if I could feel that, like I said, it basically made them feel vulnerable. But what I took on was I'd done something wrong, because I made it that it was me that was wrong, because I suppose for me, I wanted to somehow control the situation, because at that point in time, I wasn't able to understand that, you know, it was their wounds, it was their stuff they were dealing with, and to just kind of, you know, so basically I made it my story. I made it about me being wrong. And I got to a point, and this was really interesting. A few months ago, I met up with a lady, first time I'd ever met up with her, and it was to do some spiritual work. And we went for lunch, and I used to get really, really anxious about meeting people for the first time. You know, what will they think of me? Or what if I, you know, what if I say this wrong, I do that wrong, and da da da. Anyway, I went into this meeting with her, went into this chat. We had like lunch, and there was a point when I sat down and we were just like getting some food, and I just relaxed. I thought, I'm just going to let my heart listen into this. I'm going to let my mind and all those worries just drop away. And I thought, I'm just going to feel. I'm just going to feel. And I could feel everything she was talking about. I could hear what she was saying, but I could feel what was going on underneath the surface. And I thought, I can see her. And when I say see, I hope you guys probably all know what I mean. I can see her. And I suddenly thought, I didn't need to let on exactly to her what I was feeling, but I suddenly thought, I can be what this person needs in this moment. I can hold space for her without using any words. I don't need to take on her story, her narrative, her pain. I can literally hold space just by listening to her without taking this on. And I suddenly had this moment of thinking about my whole journey, and suddenly realizing I can let go of this fear. I can just hold space for this person. I don't need to fix anything. Literally, by being here and just holding space, that's all she needs. And that felt so mind-blowing to have got to that point of just thinking, just by being myself, just by being open, without fear and without making her story my story or taking that on. And I suddenly thought, wow, this is amazing. This is being able to feel, as much as I know it can be really overwhelming, because, you know, we do feel everything. But when you realize what a gift it is to be able to do that, and when you recognize that, when you're able to go, do you know what? This life is amazing. What I can do is amazing. I am amazing. This is an amazing opportunity to be here at this time and to be able to do this. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah. Oh, certainly. That's funny, because when I was younger, all of my friends would come up to me too for guidance, you know, and then I decided to be a social worker. So, you know, why not take everybody else's, you know, stuff on my shoulders? And I know exactly what you were saying. I think because I was just tapping into people's energy, I could understand everything, but I would not sleep well at night. I would like take everything that I heard during my day of work back home. I could not dissociate myself from it. It's like I felt responsible for everybody's fate. It's like, my God. And that got me very low vibration in the night. I had no energy. So that's the beauty of what you're saying also, is that being able to see how much we've grown with the years, that now at some point you get to a point where, you know, it's their stuff. You want them to be empowered. You know, if they need guidance, you'll support them, but this is the responsibility of the other in front of you to make changes in their life if they want to actually have changes in their life. And that we can't provoke changes. We can just, you know, guide them towards their own light and see how it's gonna go, because that's their own responsibility. So I think for me, my spiritual journey gave me that sense of, as you were saying, like, I can feel, I can sense what's happening. I'm gonna mirror to you, say to you what I feel, what's happening. But in the end, this person has to do whatever they need. And obviously, sometimes they just need us to hold a safe container where they just can talk about what's happening, or just express, and just they get, even just in that sacred space, sometimes they realize things and they're like, ooh, I had not seen it this way. And then they're like making more connections. So this sensitivity is a real gift, but yeah, and it's I think it's recognizing all of these little gifts, because it's like if we were taught when we were younger, you're too sensitive, why this, why that, they're just analyzing all of our behaviors, and now seeing how these gifts and treasures that we hold in our heart actually can help us expand and help others. That's the gift, I think, behind all of this sensitivity.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. So do you think it'd be worth asking if anyone has any questions at this point?
Yeah, why not? We have a few people on. If you want to unmute, you can. If you want to put the question in the chat, you can. I think while people are maybe chatting, it's like, if you do feel that you need to be talking to someone, please do it. Because if, at some point I'm like, Sam, I saw Sam in my meditation, actually. Like her face came up and I'm like, ooh, this is interesting. I guess I have to talk to her now. But it was beautiful. And then we had this conversation and we could feel that we saw, it's like that's the star family thing. That it's exactly that. Then you talk with someone, you don't have to explain anything, because they get you. They just get you. They get how you are. They get what you're talking about. You're the same frequency, right? So we're talking exactly the same language. And so if you do have an urge to meet with someone in person or connect with them via Zoom or whatever way, please do it, because your soul is gonna just like, maybe you should talk to this person. And if you never listen to these this little insight or these nuggets that they give you, you could maybe spend more time feeling a little more lonely-ish, like if that makes sense. So if you have these connections that come forward, please act on it, so that you feel that your star family is actually coming together, because that's the year. We still have a few months up. Not a long time, but it's
absolutely. And one thing that sort of kind of come clear to me in the last few months is this world where we are is an opportunity. It's a playground. It's an opportunity for our soul to come into a human body and experience, to get out there and live and connect and to take risks, and to, I think there's a meme somewhere about like, wanting your body to like have loads of scars and, stuff on it when you die, kind of thing, because you want to have lived. You don't want to be like mint in box, right? We're here to experience and for our souls to grow. And yeah, obviously if you don't feel to connect, there's nothing wrong with that, but trust me, I was never a risk taker. 10-15 years ago, if you told me I'd be showing up doing some of the stuff I'm doing now, I would have just been like, no way. But to get out there and risk it and to try, and you do sometimes have that voice on your shoulder, which is like exactly like you said, Annabelle, I saw some space in meditation, and
I could have just discarded it and say like, ooh, this is creepy.
And I'm so glad you did. Because, or you could have had that narrative. This is the exact thing you were saying about your mind getting in the way. Or say, oh, well, if I reach out to Sam, what if she tells me I'm a scary, go away, you stalker, those parts, but that's the thing, isn't it? Our head gets in the way and stops us, because we want to kind of protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe and, protect our stuff, kind of thing, because there might be a threat, rather than thinking, no, this is an opportunity to expand my light out and connect, and to trust that whatever happens, it's going to be beneficial. So it's all about perception, but to see this world as a playground, as a place full of opportunity, and even the challenging stuff is an opportunity that, and our higher self and our team is actually guiding that, and to trust that, even the difficult stuff. And I'm sure we've all been there, we've had stuff and it's like, oh, what is this
how can this be a gift? Yeah. So true. So true. It's like just allowing everything to unfold. I made a post earlier today after my live in my Facebook group, and I was like, stop analyzing and judging where you're at, that you should be somewhere else. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And, be compassionate with your heart and with your journey, because everybody's journey is unique, and and we could talk hours on our journey. My journey did not start very well, and it was a lot of hardship and a lot of trauma, but I'm here now, and now I can speak light language, and I'm a healer. So I mean, how beautiful is that once you are helping yourself to release those layers of trauma and all of these imprints and memories, how many gifts do you think you have? And I think that's something that people kind of don't expect when they are in the challenges period of their life. They think that's all it is. And I understand, because I think I felt that way too. You feel like you're in a hole and that everything's gonna like be like dark until you die, right? But yeah, just following these insights, and if you're pulled towards a healer or a friend or a new person, there is a reason why. And following that trust that you have within your heart.
And I think to trust that it doesn't have to look perfect. I think there are some amazing people out there with so much wisdom, and there are some people with like massive followings who, don't get me wrong, they have amazing wisdom to share, but there are lots and lots and lots of people out there with no followers, with no following, who also have massive wisdom to share, who don't have maybe the knowledge or the confidence to step out on platforms and do this sort of stuff. It doesn't mean to say that they haven't got something about them or gifts in them and that they can connect with you. So to reach out, to keep reaching out from your heart, and to really see somebody else's heart, and to not worry if it isn't perfect. And I think that was one of the things that made it really hard for me to step out, actually, because a lot of the people I would see doing this sort of stuff online, I would look at them and think, oh my God, they're just so amazing. They're the way they dress, the way they look, the way they present themselves, I can't do that. I look at, and I'm sure those people, they wouldn't want me to think that, because they do it so well. And this is part of my own programming of never been good enough, right? That I look at that and think, I can't do that, like I said, that's part of my own programming, that I always see everybody else doing things better. And I have this programming of what I do isn't enough. It doesn't matter, right? If things are absolutely perfect, I will look at it and think it's not good enough. And I recognize that stuff in me to heal, right? And I'm fine, I'm good with that. Yeah. But when we realize that it doesn't have to be perfect, because it's about seeing somebody else's heart and making that heart connection, and that we all have something beautiful to offer. It's not just these few people with the 100,000 followers or whatever. They're amazing, and they have their journey and they have their job to do, right? But each of us has something to offer. Each of us has huge value and creativity and potential, and to don't think for 1 minute that you don't.
Yeah, I love that you say that, because I remember the first video on my YouTube channel, I think I did it like 15 times before even like posting it. And I was like, oh, I don't like them, because my first language is French. So it would be like, oh, they're not gonna understand what I'm saying. I was just like, and I would analyze all the face I was making. I was analyzing everything, like, oh, my shoulder, oh, the camera, oh my God, it was just annoying. Well, you're right. And we all have this frequency. We all need everybody else's frequencies to support everyone on the planet, because my frequency fits with some of them and yours fits with others, and everybody else help others. So we're just all have umbrellas of people that we're going to be helping. And sometimes maybe we could support each other's, people that are following each other. But this frequency in this part of the puzzle is just so important. And if you are right now feeling you're in this hole, check out, reach out to people that have gone through that, because it I know for myself, and I'm in a video about my dark night of the soul, because I felt completely lost, like completely alone. My family was not working with my family. I did not have friends that would understand me. I would feel completely not grounded. I did not know anything about grounding either. I knew the word, but that's it, you know. And so I think that's why we have to talk about, you know, these things. They exist, but again, going to these people that have gone through them things just helps you feel that you're not alone, and that you're gonna get on the other side of it with so much strength within you. And if your ego is telling you you're not pretty enough, you're not ready enough, you don't have the certification enough, you don't have this and that before you start doing whatever you want to do, then that's when it's even more important to step out. And if you need to talk to us about it because we went through it, please reach out, because we're going to support you with that.
And I should add to that, and I'm sure I speak for you on this as well, when I hold space for other people, I just feel so much joy, and I feel like it is such a privilege to literally be able to hold space for somebody else while they can start to see themselves.
Exactly.
That is what I love about it. That's why we show up and do these things, because, you know, all this afternoon I was thinking about this, all day I was thinking about this. I'm so excited. You know, when I couldn't get on, I was like, I just want to get on. I so want to connect. And what was lovely was I was thinking the nerves about doing this stuff is going away, because I'm just loving just sharing my own journey and choosing now to share my heart and to not worry about getting hurt or being judged or being made wrong by other people, because of the joy it brings me to be able to hold space for other people. So when you reach out, and, you know, to Annabelle or to me or to whoever, you are giving them an opportunity to do the work. I say work, to do the thing that they feel so cool to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Finding that
a joy.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. It's like it feels, I think for all of us in this field, whatever you're doing, I think all of us are just like so feeling so grateful to be able to share our light so that people see their own light and then feel better. And it's just like, I know for myself, every time I have a session, I feel just so good afterwards. I'm like, I know people are just like, they've released the really just like kind of heaviness, and now they're more centered, and now they see clearly, and now they're connected to their soul, and it's just yay. You know,
it's just like
that all the time. This is party time, you know. To be able to help people do that. Yeah, I love that. Lauren, did you have a question? I think you had. Or not.
I didn't really have a question, just a comment. I resonate with so much of what you were saying, Samantha, about being the sensitive person, and that feeling that you got of that open-heartedness, and that realizing that you were where you were supposed to be, and that it was special, and that it was amazing. And I felt some parts of that sometimes, but I really resonated with that, in that I want that moment to be able to fully accept that sensitivity and that gift, instead of it being the difficult thing, it being the joyful thing.
So true. It's easy to judge these parts of us, right? Because we've been told so many times that they were bad. I remember being rejected in my family or with friends at school because I was sensitive, you know. Even now, like, I have some star sisters and I'm gonna cry. I let them a message and I'm crying. Oh, I thought of you. But this is who I am. Like, I mean, I'm gonna cry my whole life. But now I just accept it more, that this sensitivity is a gift that God gave me to be able to connect with people better.
Yeah. By the way, there's fireworks. In case you heard that big bang, there's some fireworks. It's fireworks night tomorrow here. I just wanted to say something, Lauren, in response to your comment. so I went to the point of being very open and allowing people in, and feeling very, very alone. From starting out as a child, feeling so open and connected and happy being myself, and actually being very happy spending time on my own. I say on my own because I was surrounded by fairies, unicorns, imaginary friends who I used to, I used to spend loads of time with them and just think, this is totally normal, until people started being like, that's not normal, it's just a strange child. And then slowly through friends and stuff, they started judging and making me wrong, and and I felt very alone and isolated. And I ended up in a relationship with someone. He was my first serious relationship at 16, and that relationship turned into a incredibly toxic, abusive relationship. It got to the point where I absolutely detested myself. I'd taken everybody else's stuff on and made it about me. It was me that was wrong, because why would people treat you this way if it wasn't about me? I ended up leaving. I still remember the night, because I remember thinking, I need someone to save me from this. I need someone to save me from this. And the person that needed to save me was me. I needed to go, this does not feel right. And that's what happened. I thought, this does not feel right. I'm 22 years old and I feel like I would rather be dead. So I had to make a choice. Do I want to be dead, or do I want to choose life? And I did not know what life was going to look like. All I knew was something had to change. So I left. I packed a bag, I left my house behind, and I went to live in a caravan. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew something had to change. I went through 12 to 24 months of dark nights of the soul. And I got to a point where I remember it was Boxing Day, and it would have been 2001. I spent the whole day crying, and I felt there was no one there for me. And I thought, that's it. I don't want to be here anymore. I had 2 cats then. They stayed with me the whole day. And I got to that point where I thought, I'm going to make a choice now. I thought, I want to be here. They've been here with me. And I thought, I want to make a change. I want to take responsibility for myself. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm going to find me underneath all of this. And that's when I started to take responsibility. And that's really when my spiritual journey really, truly started, when I started doing the work. And it's taken years. So that was 2001, and we're 2022 now, of consistently finding out who I am, different ways to do that, finding out the things that I love about me. And I've gone from that journey of really hating myself, self-harming, all those things, because I hated myself so much, to getting to a point where I can honestly say, I love who I am now. Mm-hmm. There's more stuff to do. There will always be more stuff to do, but just consistently finding those things that light you up, that talk to your heart, that allow you to connect with your heart. Keep doing that and trusting that if you consistently keep doing that, you will blossom. You will find that love for yourself. And as you find that love for yourself, you will begin to be able to express it out. And then you'll have this passion that you'll want other people to feel that way too. Because everybody deserves to feel that love and that connection to themselves, and to be able to express it to other people. And that's why I'm so passionate about doing this, because I don't want other people to feel so alone and so afraid that they don't want to be here anymore, when everybody has so much light and love and gifts and wisdom to share, if only they could see it. And I don't want other people to feel like that, feel how I felt, and feel so alone, and feel so unable to love themselves. I feel really emotional, Jerry, because I feel very passionate about it.
Beautiful soul. Yeah, I think we can look back and see these moments where we did not want to be on this planet anymore. I think most of us have felt that way, and they're hard to look at, right? When we now see how beautiful it is, we're like, thank God I did not choose to leave this planet, and now I'm seeing people I can help. Yeah, you're right. I think for me too, it's like it hurts us now to see that people could stay in this bubble of negativity, that they're not good enough and that nothing's gonna ever work for them. And it's like, it takes time. I know for me, it's, as you said, it was, I needed to choose me. I could not live on choosing other people's before me, other people's happiness before mine. I always was, it was my family. And then it was, you know, boyfriends that were, you know, not treating me well, but I just wanted to stay because I could see that if they made few changes, they would become a beautiful soul, you know, at some point. But yeah, this always had these visions, right? But maybe it's in 10 more lifetimes. It would have been very long. But yeah, just connecting to that, and it's choosing us. And I know it's hard for all of us that are empaths, because we see everybody's pain before ours, because we feel everybody's pain before even ours. When we're not in tune and when we don't connect with our beautiful soul, it's like everybody else is more important because they're in our field. So we don't even feel ourselves, we feel others before we feel ourselves. But once you connect and you choose yourself, it's just so beautiful how things can shift, and they can shift pretty quickly once you realize that you are the most important person in your life. And it's just very hard, because I think I've heard that many years. And as I said before, there's some stuff we comprehend it with the mind, but we don't understand it with the heart. It's just like, if, you know, it's like something that somebody tells you, but you don't really understand it. But once you really know, once you decide that you will not allow anyone to let you feel less than what your true inner value, then that's a shift. Yeah, I think that was one of the big ones for me. Yeah.
And it's powerful to be able to look back at this stuff. It is really powerful to be able to look back at this stuff and realize how much you've grown. And you know, I look back on that person, and I think it was, you know, it feels like a different lifetime, and in a way it was, you know,
Yeah, different timeline.
and actually, you know, I can look at where I am now with so much more gratitude because of what I experienced. And at the end of the day, you're exactly right. It's about choosing yourself, and it's about realizing actually that's not selfish. When you choose yourself, when you allow yourself to grow into the best version of you that you can be, your light, your energy is amplified to such a magnificent level that you can shine out and you can support people in ways that you could never have imagined when you were just making yourself small. You know, the more you make yourself small, the more you shut down your light, the more you kind of hide it away. Whereas if you really choose to back yourself and acknowledge your light and to really shine it out, you can do, not only are you doing yourself good, you're doing everyone around you good, and you can be shining your light without even realizing. Like, you know, just going into the store and smiling and saying hi to people. Do you know the amount of people who don't do that? I see it when you actually watch. I'm sure you guys do too. You look around you and people have their faces in their phones. They don't want to communicate. They don't, you know, it's because, you know, they haven't got the connection to themselves, so they haven't got the confidence to connect with people around them. And you know, when you have that kind of trust in your light, and when you're happy to express that light out there, you can make massive changes with very little effort, actually. So
yeah. So true, so true. I think Natalia, you had a question / comment. I thought you were coming. Go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you.
Okay, I will try to articulate what I'm thinking. I guess what I'm thinking about is that, yes, completely, you know, I could have said everything that you said here. And I'm just looking back at myself, let's say 20 years back, and I was so far away from where I am now. And I guess what I'm trying to articulate is that, you know, like the language that we speak in this bubble, in this community, sometimes it's so far removed from the people who are, you know, 20 years back, who are still in this like toxic place of not choosing themselves. And, you know, when they hear things like, I don't know, like breath work, quantum healing, you know, like light family and that kind of stuff, like, you know, I'm just thinking about the feedback I get from some people that reached out to me. This language is just so foreign to them, but they're the ones that need the most help. So I'm just kind of like grappling with this thing. How can I reach people, not in this bubble where we are, this like expansion and all of this beautiful stuff, which is like really advanced level for people who are still like sitting like scared and completely isolated in their hole, like just completely not able to even like ask for help. Those are the people like I really would love to reach.
Mm-hmm.
And they're outside of my bubble, like because like I have more than 4,000 friends on my Facebook, and all of them are from my Bali bubble, from my Thai bubble, from my Tulum bubble, all of those bubbles. And it's like I feel I'm always preaching to the converted, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
like
think
how to expand outside of that bubble. That's what
I think
kind of.
for me, if I can start, the only way I could see this, like how to do that, was actually to be in some groups and comment on people's comments when I see that they're struggling, because some groups are more open, like, oh, I really don't feel well. Sometimes I'm just gonna put a comment, and maybe somebody is not gonna actually, I'm just gonna put something really short and say, if you want more information, just comment me. And it's not about having clients, it's more about sharing little tools that they could use just in the moment when they feel really low, when they feel like disconnected from their soul, they feel very bad. So I think that's one of the things that I've seen so far, that if you're part of different groups, is going in there sometimes, and some people will cry out for help. And maybe what you're gonna say, because sometimes, well, they have 100 comments, but maybe at some point you'll reach them. And I think it's about being visible. It's also, I think, about how we present it. If we just only use the spiritual terms that people don't know, obviously we're not going to reach some people. And it's about, if it's the niche that you want, then that's another, if it's not the one that you have right now, then that's another, that it would be another discussion, like more strategic things that we could do. But I think for me, sometimes it's just that, like, I don't always spend time on all of these groups, because I mean, we could spend our days on there. But if I do something in my, in my field that talks to me, and I feel that I could be supportive of this person, I'm just going to send them a message directly and see how it goes. So that's what I've been doing.
I think I would say living and breathing your most authentic life, and getting out there, like I said, going back to the supermarket comment, getting out there, smiling at people, trusting that the little things you do in your local communities and on social media, but you can make a difference by smiling at someone and just saying hi and actually having a conversation. And there are so many times and instances I can think of where, okay, it's not a massive difference. It might not be this massive life-changing event, but I've just had a conversation with someone at a checkout or something. I remember a woman bursting into tears because a customer, like an hour earlier, had been really horrible to her for some reason. I can't remember why. And I just remember saying to her, it's been chatty, and saying, well, thank you, and I can't remember what we talked about now. And she burst into tears and she said, oh, you've just been so kind to me. And I was like, I just had a chat with her, but it meant so much that I'd just taken that 2 minutes just to chat about whatever random inane stuff we talked about. But that I saw her in that moment, and I was kind, and I shared a smile. And, the previous customer had been rude, and it just made her feel a connection. And I think that's what so many people are missing. So many people are so lost. They don't know how to connect with themselves. They don't know how to connect to people around them. And actually, it's really simple. Like you say, you don't need to use all these complicated spiritual words. You need to smile at people. You need to, do as you say. Don't just tell other people, do it like this. Express your heart and get out there. shine and don't be afraid to shine, and other people will see you doing it, and they might just have the confidence to come up and say, well, what is it that you do? You know, how are you? They'll see you as an example, hopefully as an inspiration, and then they might have the curiosity. It might just be the thing that lights something up inside them that makes them think, do you know, that person's made me want to understand myself a bit better. And to trust, just by getting out there and shining your heart as an inspiration, that it will inspire other people, and that we won't necessarily always know. You know, that woman in the checkout, I know in that space that made a difference to her. I don't know what happened after that, but it's about this responsibility thing again. We're not responsible for all of these people. We put ourselves out there, we share our light, we share our hearts, and then we trust.
Exactly.
And then, you know, those other people have to make that decision for themselves. They have to reach that point on their journey, whether it's a crisis or something that inspires them or whatever it is. They then have to have enough curiosity to want to begin that process of reconnection with themselves, that help build that connection, that more empowered connection with people around them.
Yeah, and we won't reach everyone, and it's okay, because not everyone is going to fit our frequency, and not everyone is ready for what we offer, and that's why we're all so important, because we're all piece of this puzzle, right? I'm feeling like light language has to come through now.
You know, I'm absolutely, I don't know what to do with myself. I can't sit still.
All right. How do we do that? I could see channel. Do you wanna write? Do you wanna say?
Why don't you speak and I'll write? So I speak.
Gonna do a duo.
Yeah, duo. So I speak light language, but I also channel light language scripts. So I'm gonna just tune into everybody. I'm gonna tune into Annabelle's beautiful light language, and I'm just gonna script. I've got gold and silver pen. That's
Okay.
my room, and we'll just see.
And then we'll see what comes up. And I feel there's lots around the throat chakra. Yeah. Let me just see. We have a lot of Lyran energy. So I feel my home is full. So let's just see. I'm just gonna drink some water because they might make me sing. So just close your eyes and connect with your heart a little bit. Just releasing everything that is not from the highest for you right now. Just maybe we push out 3 times anything that does not belong to us or is lower frequency in our field. So just breathing in, pushing out 3 times. And we invite the beautiful light beings serving the eternal light and light codes to come in and come through. And there's gonna be some work done on your chakras as usual. So just open your fields, open your heart, and receive the codes as they come into you right now. Kia inia sa kotora inia shai tikitia ranai nei yaro so kotia rani ai kia sa roish ai ainia tarai kikia tatai inia shu uai ara asai inia kara o ai ni rakashi ruai nia ka azia nia shia araini ki arao. So they've been doing a clearing of your throat and your third eye and your crown. So we've started with the 3 more on the top. Koinio, 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 Raini shia satara asa ania katia ranana ia asaini kia roa maini ania rikia shua aini kia tara ia nia sai rainia karo o ashua katia arania katia ranana nia shu. They're building kind of a butterfly in front of us, which seems to be related to like the versions we're becoming. So however you're seeing it in your mind's eye or how you feel it, it's the vision they want you to have. And these last codes were like helping you opening your heart and discovering the willpower you have in your solar plexus. There's probably more coming up. So we're going to do the root and the sacral now. Just going to see if I can have. All right. Tuai nia si aroa katiara naini shea sati ani ara oashu iniktiara nakea satiara nainia katiara nainikia taradakia tiara nana ru uasha asatiara nakia rainia shia arania katia ru kutuarania shi sikia na anaini kia nia ranana nia sia katia ranaini kia tataini kia tatai aini arai ke ashu uaini ainea arai kakakaini ru uashua azia nia kainia kara a ru uashu ainea. So they're like removing any ties from past lives attached to your hips, clearing your sacral from ancestral lineage leakages of your energy field, and all of this sense of unsafety in the root chakra. Just sense and feel the frequencies. Satatiaranainu, katiaranu, kukua kakea, atiaranea kakaini, ruai, araini. Now they're building this infinity sign to actually rebalance your divine masculine and divine feminine energies. And this big infinity sign is going to go through all time and space, through all of your soul extensions, and go through all of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies now. Going to end at the end in the earth star chakra below the soles of your feet to anchor all of these new energies. And just sense and feel how different it is already after this talk and after these 10 missions, just how different your connection is to yourself and your alignment. And if there's anything you want to share, Samantha, any codes, anything, just go ahead.
I feel some light language coming through from the heart to channel, if that's okay. I've done a script as well, but as you were, I could feel it coming through, so I just shared. It feels as if it's to help you allow any resistance around your heart to fall away, for you to connect more deeply to the power held in your heart. Roto kushne maratesh, that karishkara batarushkori me yara to kora, de kotarash, kishla tekara to kora, Radegishmarelesh kara to kutorosh, Gimutora tezesh, Gaslesh kudrets kara, Botalesh karataka, Rodikushne miase, Jatatakash let the kora, Seshakatakashara tira, Rodukujimara wedele the Kashnara to kora deshra, Rodijimwara the Kishakatakash, Yadra. Ara to Kuradi, Brinamira Seshne, Lejgas Reshkiarato, Redi Kajamara Tiki, Redi Kishnara the Keshna Muredashla, Rodakushimutu Katariskashla, the Katara, but the Tashnarish Demokes, Ratakashta, Kutatan Marataku, Renyashletiki, or the Gujlamara to Kushnara, Teshlata to Kuratara to Redishna Mara to Kora Deshna, Renilish Kanana Mara Dishnurata, Nudese, Rede Mokoisla Tiki Nara to Ku, Rodesa Muda Tashla Tiki Nara Tate. Hoiseshe Kemwazeshe. They say that our heartbeats, although they are singular and unique and beautiful, that they beat as one, and each of our hearts is part of this orchestra, this symphony. And when we align hearts, it creates this incredible fusion of energy from our hearts that can bring about such incredible, beautiful, magnificent change. So to really allow that to penetrate into your being and to allow that message and that wisdom to move you forwards and to know that you are so beautiful, you are so loved.
That was so beautiful. I felt the Pleiadians in ancient Egypt through that. Wow, it's so beautiful.
That's what I got from.
Oh, so beautiful. Yeah. You know what we could do is like maybe we could kind of take a picture and it could be kind of the thumbnail.
That's a good idea. I'll do that. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So if you have any comments, please share before we leave. But that was very lovely to connect with all of you here. Even if you haven't shared, I know you got something from this talk. And what I think we're gonna be doing, yeah, we're activating you. We're activators. That's what's happening. That's beautiful. Oh, that means that the codes are actually getting into your physical body, which is beautiful because we want the codes to come in all of our bodies to then anchor in the physical. So that's beautiful. So I'm thinking we're gonna post that maybe in both of our YouTube channels and then share the link. We could maybe do that if you're open to that. And yeah, so we'll post, you know, the information if you want to connect with us more later on.
Yeah, we put our groups, because we both got groups.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if you want to reach out, you just want to say hi, you want to share a bit about yourself, then we're here. I think the whole point is we don't have to do this stuff alone.
Not anymore.
You know, it's like that's the hard way to do it. You can, if you want to do it on your own, go for it, but you don't have to. There are other people out there who it brings us so much joy to connect. And when we do, like, you know, just this space, well, for me, and I'm sure for you, Annabelle, it's just felt beautiful and joyful and just a delight, you know. And when we connect, and one of my little hashtags is stronger together in light. When we connect, we all shine brighter. We need to move out of this idea that we're in competition with each other. It's BS, you know. That's so 3D. Yeah, totally. This idea of competition, it just ties into this sense of lack, you know. We're moving away from that. There is the universe, there is an abundance of everything out there. It's just whether you choose an abundance of creativity and joy and, you know, wonderful things, or whether you want to focus in on not having enough, you know. But when we connect, amazing things.
Because I think that's also why we wanted to do that. And I think more and more it will come, us gathering together to share our wisdom, to share our gifts, because we all have different pieces that fit with different people. And it's I think the more we spread the light, the more people we reach. So yeah, however that happens, it's just so beautiful. I'm so grateful for meeting you, beautiful starseed sister.
And I'm sure we will do more events together. I'm absolutely sure. But before I came on, my team was saying, oh, you could do this together and you could do this together. Well, okay. Like, they've got really, really excited since we've got together. And I'm sure you're feeling the same. I just want to take a moment to thank everybody for joining us and helping. You guys, by being here, have contributed and amplified the energy. Yes. You know, so thank you for making the time to connect with us so that we could do something we love, and for making the time for yourselves. You know, that is awesome. So to Kira, to Donna, to Lauren, to Natalia, thank you. And I just feel very privileged to have connected with you. And I just was going to read Donna's comment. Bless you. You feel amazing and exhausted. It's amazing how you can feel amazing and exhausted at the same time, right? I'm so glad to hear that it's helped. And you know where we both are. If you want to connect with us, then please feel to.
Yes, yes.
And, yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're sending you much, 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 much love. And yeah, spread your light, because if you've been watching, or if you're watching, whenever you're watching, you have so much beautiful light that everybody wants to connect with. And yeah, it was a pleasure to support you.
Thank you so much to both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you.
All right, well, we're gonna let you to it, and thank you so much again. And we'll be posting the links so that you can get the recording if you want to watch it again. All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.